Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be doing a 15,000 mile review on this 2018 Heritage 114. Now I bought this new back on May 31st of 2018, so I have had it now for, as of today, 2 years, 3 months, and 11 days. Basically that comes down to an average of about 18 miles a day, or 6,564 miles per year to get to the 15,000 miles that I'll be hitting today. Now, as of this video, it's 14,955 miles, but we are going to go hit 15,000 right now. So I did want to talk about just this bike in general as an overall opinion of the bike and the experiences that I have had with it, which have been really quite awesome, to be honest with you. Now, before I bought this bike, I did a comparison video of the Heritage versus the Road King, because those were the two bikes that I was really considering when you know, I was in the market. And I went back and watched this video today. Watching that video back, I have to say I pretty much agree with almost all the points that I made. There are a lot of arguments to be made about the Heritage actually being a better bike than the Road King for some people. Now, if you're going to be doing long touring jaunts, especially two up, then yeah, the Road King is going to be better for you. But somebody like me, man, I ride around town. I'm a commuter back and forth to work. I go on little trips basically by myself on the weekends if I can, you know, break away early on a Saturday. Just around town, I don't need a huge touring bike. This Softail is perfect for the riding that I do, but I digress. This is not a comparison video. This is my experiences on this Heritage over the last 2 years and change. So the longest trip that I took on this bike was 2,385 miles from Phoenix out to Moyers, Oklahoma for the Bring It Home event last October. We're going on about 11 months ago that trip was now. So yeah, that was you know, just under 2,400 miles in 5 days. The majority of that riding was done in 4 days. It was quite a bit. I loaded up the back of this bike with 2 Nelson Rig backpacks and basically hit the road and just crushed some miles. And I tell you what, I had some days that were 11 hours on the saddle, and it was super comfortable. Aside from being tired by the time I got to where I was going, for a guy who has some back pain and stuff like that, it was actually a super comfortable ride. You know, I thought that by the time that I got home from that trip, I was going to be laid up on the couch for a few days. Really just, you know, one good night's sleep, and I was totally fine. And it really blew me away. To be totally honest with you, this bike, as a lightweight tourer, is certainly capable of holding its own. Now, again, if you're going to go two up long distance, then you're going to start stressing that monoshock out a little bit. It's just going to be a little bit harder on the frame of the bike. But again, for solo trips and stuff like that, this Softail frame not only can handle it, but can handle it incredibly comfortably. So in 15,000 miles, service-wise, I would say that I've been to the dealership 0 times, but that would be misleading, because I did actually have to go in one time for a belt adjustment after I switched the tires myself. I actually did that project in my garage, swapped over the factory Dunlops to Michelin Commander 2s, which, by the way, I highly recommend. They're amazing tires. Really, I love them a lot. I'll be going with them again in the future when it comes time to replace them. But after I did that, I had to go into the dealership for a belt adjustment because, well, I jacked something up. But other than that, I've had it into the dealership not one time for any service. I have had some issues occasionally with this gas cap vibrating. It's the OEM cap. I will swap that out at some point for the blacked out version. I just haven't done it yet. But I also wanted to talk about the mods that I've done on this bike. I am actually really happy with where I have this thing tuned in currently, power-wise, sound-wise, and all that. So one of the first things I did on this bike was installed the DynoJet Power Vision, which changed the mapping of the throttle and everything pretty much immediately, and made the bike just come to life. I mean, I was absolutely blown away with how much that DynoJet Power Vision in and of itself, really before any other mods were made, just made a huge difference. Also, if you notice, it's pretty smoky out here. This is all not overcast cloudiness, but smoke coming from California from all the wildfires. So it's just pretty hazy out here in Arizona the last couple days. Now, after the DynoJet Power Vision installation, the next, I guess, significant thing that was done to the bike was the Tab Performance slip-ons. Now, a lot of people ask me, I did not go with the zombie baffles. I went with the 2 1/4 inch baffles, which is what they consider their medium sound level, and I am very happy with those. I'm really happy with the medium leveled baffles. It gives the bike a real nice deep bellow to it that I'm very happy with. I also switched over to the K&N air filter, the oiled filter. This bike did, with the 114, come with the high flow air filter stock, but I did switch it over to the oiled filter. I'm not sure why, I just did. Not really necessary, I think, but something I decided to do. Now, here in Arizona, it does get, well, it's pretty toasty. There were days this year where it was 120 degrees. We've actually had the hottest summer, I believe, on record in Arizona. So I contacted Ultra Cool, and they sent me out an oil cooler, which I did a review on, and I love that thing. It has kept the temperatures on the bike way lower. I'm very happy with it. I couldn't speak any higher of Ultra Cool than I do. Now, another thing that I've done with the bike was swapped over to the Zero 3D turn signals. It's a visibility thing. A huge portion of why I went with the Heritage over the Road King was I love the passing lamp look on the front. It's a safety thing, in my opinion. The more light that you throw off the front of the bike, the more chance, or the less chance you have of the dreaded somebody turning left in front of you and you know, not realizing that you know, you're as close as you are. I also have the Custom Dynamics tail light, which is LED, and that also has the strobe module that I installed with it, which increases the light output to the rear. And the other thing I added was the backrest from Motherwell Products, which that thing comes in super clutch. When I take the bike to work, which is as often as I can, if I have to run back and forth to a job site, I can toss a bag on the back of the bike and strap it down and carry an iPad, a laptop, a hard hat, safety vest, things that I need for work. That Motherwell backrest is awesome. I also strapped everything down to that for my trip to Moyers, Oklahoma for the Bring It Home ride that Adam Sandoval hosted last year. So that thing, I use it constantly, not so much for a passenger, but definitely for luggage. So that's a huge bonus. And the last thing I'll mention is the Fobo TPMS sensors that are on this bike. Used them as of yesterday. It's really nice to be sitting in the living room, be able to pull up the Fobo app, which, by the way, it'll work across my entire house to check tire pressures, to know that, hey, I plan on riding tomorrow, fire up the compressor, throw a little bit of air in the tires. Hugely beneficial thing to be able to do that. So highly recommend all of those mods. There's not a single one of those that I mentioned that I would not recommend to anybody. They've all been really quite awesome. I am going to be looking at adding, which should be coming to me today, an engine crash bar that I'll be putting on hopefully later on tonight. So that'll be a separate video in and of itself. So yeah, with that being said, that's just basically the list of all the mods. This is just me taking a trip down south to talk about all of the things that I've experienced with this bike in the last 2+ years. I mean, it has been absolutely fantastic. I am a huge fan of this Softail platform. The Milwaukee 8 power plant has been fantastic. I have had no problems with this bike when it comes to reliability. There's one thing on this entire bike, one thing that has basically broken, that I had nothing to do with, that I you know, it is what it is. But let me hop off here at this next little rest area, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So, the only thing that I've had break on this whole entire bike that was not necessarily my fault would be this little trim piece here. I'm assuming a rock came up and probably hit it from behind, cracked it, and it was basically hanging in two pieces, so I just pulled it off. I haven't gotten a new one yet because, I don't know, I just don't care that much. I will at some point. Now, you can see here, my boots are melting on the exhaust pipe and kind of creating a little bit of a marring up issue here, but you know, that's just from, I guess, the way that I ride. My boot kind of touches that on occasion. But all in, yeah, you know, the bike has held up incredibly well. So let's go hit that 15,000. So here we are, 14,998 miles. 2 more to go. And there we go, 15,000. And we'll stop for the obligatory IG post. So in the middle of stopping to try to get a thumbnail and Instagram photo, my 360 camera died, which is fine. Video's over, but I did want to say that closing this video out, I do love this 2018 Heritage. I think it's an amazing platform. If anybody is interested in the bike and back and forth between the Heritage and the Road King, a lot of people are going to try to steer you Road King. I would tell you, do your homework and you know, ultimately buy the bike that you really want in your heart. I am going to go ahead and roll another outro here because I don't have my 360 camera, so roll it. Thank you very much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, please hit that subscribe button down below. Remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel. I'll check you guys out next time. Thanks for tuning in.